Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera dan salam untuk kita semua. Semoga kita semua selalu dalam lindungan Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Perkenalkan, saya Abdul Muhid Murtado MPD, salah satu dosen tetap di Sekolah Tinggi Bahasa Asing IC Jakarta, Prodi Sastra Inggris. Saat ini saya dalam proses mengikuti sertifikasi dosen gelombang 1 yang diselenggarakan oleh Kementerian Dikti Saintek tahun 2025. Saya akan melakukan penyusunan dokumen pernyataan diri dosen dalam unjuk kerja Tridharma Perguruan Tinggi atau PDD UKTPT dalam bidang pengajaran. Pada kesempatan ini, saya akan memaparkan salah satu mata kuliah yang saya ampu, yaitu mata kuliah Teaching English as a Foreign Language, atau yang biasa disingkat TEFL 1. Adapun deskripsi mata kuliah TEFL 1, yaitu mata kuliah yang membahas tentang dasar-dasar keterampilan mengajar bahasa Inggris, serta teori dan metode teknis bagaimana mengajar bahasa Inggris yang diterapkan pada sekolah dan lembaga. Mahasiswa akan belajar bagaimana cara mengajarkan 4 keterampilan dan 3 komponen bahasa dengan menerapkan suatu metode atau teknik tertentu dalam pengajaran bahasa Inggris. Mahasiswa juga belajar bagaimana interaksi yang diterapkan oleh guru dan murid pada sebuah pembelajaran bahasa Inggris di kelas. Mata kuliah ini penting karena mahasiswa akan mendapatkan keterampilan dasar bagaimana mengajar bahasa Inggris ketika mereka ingin menjadi seorang guru bahasa Inggris di sekolah maupun di lembaga lainnya. Sistem pengajaran yang kami gunakan mengacu kepada DIA, yaitu Delivery, Interaction, dan Assessment. Bagaimana pendekatan DIA ini? Yaitu pendekatan yang berfokus pada penyampaian materi, interaksi antara dosen dan mahasiswa, mahasiswa dan mahasiswa itu sendiri, serta juga penilaian hasil belajar pada sesi setelah pembelajaran. Perkuliahan TEFL 1 ini diselenggarakan dengan pendekatan blended learning, yaitu perpaduan antara pembelajaran luring atau tatap muka langsung dan juga daring melalui platform e-learning resmi dari Stiba IC Jakarta, yaitu pada website LMS pada Stiba IC Jakarta. Mahasiswa dapat mengakses materi perkuliahan, mengunduh LPS, serta mengunggah tugas secara online. Sementara diskusi interaktif, studi kasus, dan presentasi atau simulasi dilakukan secara langsung di dalam kelas. Metode pembelajaran yang saya terapkan bersifat aktif dan partisipatif. Di antaranya adalah penjelasan interaktif untuk membangun pemahaman konseptual mahasiswa terhadap teori pengajaran bahasa Inggris. Diskusi kelompok yang mendukung kolaborasi mahasiswa dalam membahas teori pengajaran dan penerapannya, serta simulasi mengajar di mana mahasiswa akan mensimulasikan atau mempraktekkan cara mengajar sebagai bentuk aplikasi praktis dari materi yang telah mereka pelajari sebelumnya. Untuk referensi buku pedoman yang kami gunakan adalah Technique and Principle in Language Teaching by Diane Lawson Freeman from Oxford University Press tahun 2008, serta buku pendukung The Practice of Language Teaching 3rd edition by Jeremy Harmer, Longman tahun 2001. Untuk capaian pembelajaran lulusan prodi diantaranya adalah 1. Sikap. Menunjukkan sikap bertanggung jawab atas pekerjaan di bidang keahliannya secara mandiri. Kedua, yaitu keterampilan. Mampu menunjukkan kinerja mandiri, bermutu, dan terukur. Ketiga, pengetahuan. Memiliki pengetahuan tentang teori pendidikan, teori belajar, metodologi pengajaran, dan penilaian secara umum dan secara khusus yang terkait langsung dengan bahasa Inggris. Yang keempat adalah keterampilan khusus. Mampu mendemonstrasikan pengetahuan tentang bahasa dan sastra Inggris secara formal dan fungsional dalam berkomunikasi menggunakan bahasa Inggris secara lisan, tulisan, dan berbasis media komunikasi. Untuk capaian pembelajaran pada mata kuliah yang diharapkan antara lain CPMK 1, mahasiswa mampu mengidentifikasi teknik dan metode pengajaran di ruang kelas dengan tepat. CPNK 2, mahasiswa mampu memahami teknik dan metode pengajaran di ruang kelas dengan tepat dalam konteks pengajaran dan profesional. CPNK 3, mahasiswa mampu mengaplikasikan teknik dan metode pengajaran di ruang kelas dengan tepat dalam konteks pengajaran dan profesional. CPNK 4, mahasiswa mampu mendemonstrasikan atau mempresentasikan teknik dan metode pengajaran di ruang kelas dengan tepat dalam konteks pengajaran dan profesional. Untuk media pembelajaran pada mata kuliah level 1 ini meliputi 1. Modul atau LPS yang dapat diunduh melalui e-learning pada Stiba IC Jakarta. Kedua, PowerPoint dan e-books. Serta yang ketiga adalah video pembelajaran yang dapat dilihat langsung atau diakses oleh mahasiswa. Adapun materi pembelajaran pada mata kuliah level 1 ini meliputi yaitu 1. Technique and Principle in Language Teaching. 2. The Grammar Translation Method. Ketiga, The Direct Method. Yang keempat, Audiolingual Method. Yang kelima, Community Language Learning. Yang keenam, The Total Physical Response. Yang ketujuh, The Communicative Language Teaching. Jumlah pertemuan adalah 16 kali dan total pertemuan pada kelas sebanyak 14 kali. Dengan tidak termasuk pada ujian tengah semester dan ujian akhir semester. Penilaian dalam mata kuliah level 1 ini mencakup 4 komponen utama, yaitu 1. Kehadiran dan keaktifan di kelas, baik secara verbal maupun dalam diskusi, yaitu bobot sebesar 10%. Yang kedua adalah nilai tugas, baik nilai kelompok maupun individu dengan bobot sebesar 20%. Yang ketiga adalah nilai ujian tengah semester dengan bobot sebesar 30%. Dan yang terakhir, keempat adalah nilai ujian akhir semester atau UAS dengan bobot 40%. Penilaian dilakukan secara objektif berdasarkan indikator seperti ketepatan dan penguasaan materi, partisipasi aktif mahasiswa, serta kemampuan mereka dalam memahami dan menerapkan suatu metode pengajaran. Saya menggunakan rubrik penilaian yang jelas dan terukur, dan hasil evaluasi yang saya sampaikan kembali kepada mahasiswa sebagai bagian dari proses umpan balik untuk meningkatkan kualitas pembelajaran. Dengan pendekatan ini, saya berkomitmen untuk menciptakan pembelajaran yang berpusat pada mahasiswa, sekaligus menyiapkan lulusan yang mampu berpikir kritis, adaptif terhadap perubahan, serta siap menghadapi tantangan dunia di bidang pengajaran bahasa Inggris. Baik, untuk tahapan berikutnya, mari kita simak video pembelajaran mata kuliah level 1 ini. Selamat menyaksikan. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, good afternoon everybody.
Good afternoon, sir.
Okay, everything?
Great.
So far so good?
Good.
So good, so nice ya. Okay, so the teacher and student. Okay, now let's pretend I'm the teacher and you are students. Okay. We are, as teacher, we can use the method of GTM. Anybody knows GTM? If you go to the back, GTM. What? No, this is GTM, yeah? So GTM is grammar translation. Okay, the first grammar. Do you like studying grammar?
No.
Maybe Anita. Do you think grammar is easy or difficult?
In the middle.
In the middle. Okay, Salsa, what grammar do you know?
What grammar do I know? Simple present tense.
Simple present,
Simple
okay.
past.
Simple past, okay. Future and many more. Okay. Dini, have you ever taught grammar to your friends or to your partners or to anyone? Never. Never. Okay. And the second, translation. What is translation? Translate. Okay. So we translate. Ya. Is it okay to translate the sentence in bahasa Indonesia? Is it okay?
Yes.
Yes, it's okay based on the theories of GTM. Yeah, okay. Now we see what is GTM. So our goal is to know what is GTM and to apply GTM in our class. So someday you were a teacher, yeah, for example in a school, institution, so you can teach the students about grammar using GTM. Okay, so this is what we call GTM. Grammar translation method is a method of teaching foreign language derived from the classical, sometimes called traditional method. What traditional? Because it's old. It's old already. Yeah. But you know, in grammar translation classes, students learn grammatical rules and then apply the rules by translating sentences between the target and the native language. Ever seen the video that the teacher in elementary school, they give the explanation but by translating? Yeah, so this is we call grammar translation method. Yeah, and translation is the easiest and shortest way of explaining and meaning. Yeah. Okay, Fazul, can you read?
The fundamental purpose of learning a foreign language is to be able to read literature written in the target language.
Okay. Purpose of learning is to be able to read literature without written and the target language. So, is it good for adult or for children? For adult. Okay. Do you think for children is also good? GTM?
It is also good, but it's not really practical.
Not really practical, yeah, because the focus only how to be able to know the grammar. Yeah, okay. So next, what is the role of teacher? Okay, now Hisam, you can read.
The rules are very traditional.
Mhm.
The teacher is the authority in the classroom.
Okay, now the role of the students. Kezia.
The students do as he or she says, so they can learn what she or he knows.
Is the main authority. So the teacher will give you sample. Okay, for example, yeah, I am writing a novel. Okay, for example, okay, everyone say, now pretend I'm the teacher and you are student. Okay, repeat, yeah. I'm writing a novel.
I'm writing a novel.
Okay, now I will change novel into another object. Okay, book.
I'm writing a book.
I'm writing a letter.
Okay, very good. Now I want you to say in bahasa Indonesia and I will say in English. Okay, I'm writing a novel. Okay, good. I'm writing a letter. Okay, now I change. Yeah, this is I translate. Saya sedang menulis sebuah novel. Sebuah novel. Okay. Now I will say in bahasa and then you say it in English. Saya sedang makan pizza.
I'm eating pizza.
Very good. Saya sedang membaca komik.
I'm reading comic.
Okay. So that is the sample. So the teacher has the authority to give the sample of sentence to the student and make sure the student understand what is the translation. I will continue my explanation. So now what is the interaction student and teacher? Okay, now Anza, can you read?
Most of the interaction
in the classroom is from the teacher to the students.
Okay, so the teacher to student. Okay, maybe opinion. According to Anita, maybe what is GTM? Is it good for adult or for children? Adult is good. Why?
Because the grammar is usually used in the
Usually it's used for adult. Okay, so grammar sometimes is used for adult, yeah. Okay, and then now what is the nature of student-student interaction? Okay, Kezia, can you read?
There is little student initiation and little student-student interaction.
Student and student interaction is little. So because why? They don't communicate. They don't communicate well. They just got the translation. Language are emphasized. We emphasize vocabulary and grammar. Ya, vocabulary. For example, tadi ada apa di sini? We have verb. Ya, and then we have object. Ya, jadi ada verb and object. Okay. Now I will give you the time to work in a group. So we are going to study about how to use GTM in a class. Okay? Because this is 10, I will divide you into 3 groups. Okay? 3 groups, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. Okay. For example, now you can say 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this is group 1. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 3. Dini 1, 2, 3. Okay. Group 1, Anita to Hisam, you are going to be here. Okay, to discuss about our discussion. Yeah. Okay. And Glory here, make a circle. And Anza here, make a circle. Okay. You can discuss about the question, yeah. Do you think GTM is good to be used for teaching English language? If you think it is good, whom do you use the GTM for? If you think it is not suitable anymore, in this era, why not? Yeah, how do you apply GTM? The last question, how do you apply? We will use the simulation after this. Okay, so now I give the time for you about 10 minutes to discuss with your friends. Okay, I choose the leader. Group 1, Hisam, the leader. Group 2, Glory. Group 3, Anza. Okay, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, now let's start discussion. Action. Hisam can give your opinion about the question number 1. Do you think GTM is still good to be used for teaching English language? Okay, maybe can stand up. Okay, give me applause for Kezia. Okay. Opinion. Yeah. Okay, the other can listen to Kezia.
Discussion about these subjects.
Mhm.
We have discussed that. First, do you think GTM is still good to be used for teaching English language? In our opinion, it is still, but not on all aspects. For
Okay.
some certain complicated subjects in English language, it won't be too applicable or practical to understand. And then for number 2, the question 2, if you think it is good, whom do you use the GTM for? Mostly, this is applicable for adults because as we have seen the explanation of the GTM, the method, it requires for students to think and understand by themselves because there is no not much of student-to-student interaction. So for, let's say, for kids, for children in elementary schools, it wouldn't be so practical because they still need some
More
vocabularies and then some guidance from teachers or some friends. And then how do you apply GTM in your class? Mostly like you have explained earlier.
Okay, so later we can make the simulation. Okay, good, give me applause. Okay, use the structure correctly so you can use the translation. So this is the easy way to explain. Better than you write the formula. Assume that the method of GTM, we use GTM to teach about the language, not teaching the language. Because teaching language, you have more like speaking, listening, writing, vocabulary, grammar, pronunciation, And then the second, speaking of any kind of spontaneous create output was missing from the curriculum. Student lack active, in the class. Very little attention in good communication, very little attention in paid of content. Translate it sometimes misleading. Now this is should be careful. For example, book can be buku, can be memesan. And the students from your group and we simulate. Okay? So pretend that you are teacher and you are teaching grammar to your students. And the student should be able to translate. You can give the common vocabularies, for example. And remember, this is for simulation. Okay, ready? Yeah. Now we can start from group 3 because last time we start from group 1. Group 3, I choose Anza, Dini, and Fazril. Okay, you can create the simulation, Okay, let's give it applause for group 3. Pay attention to group 3. They are going to give the simulation how to use GTM in classroom. Okay, so Fazril and Dini will be pretended as the student and Anza will be as teacher. Okay, pay attention.
So today I am going to give you 2 sentences in present continuous tense, and I would like you to also translate the sentences that I read. So this is the first sentence. I will read it first, and I would like you to copy it. So I am eating a noodle.
I am eating a noodle.
So do you know what is the translation of this sentence? What is it?
Saya sedang makan.
Yes, good. Saya.
Okay, change dibalik Indonesia to English. Translate.
So, okay, I would like to read the Indonesian sentence. Kamu sedang makan sebuah apel. What is it in English?
You are eating an apple.
Okay, so I think that's from me. Thank you.
Okay, give it a applause. Dini and Fajar, Anza, can you go back and put the chair on the position, please? Okay, that was good. So, did you see how to use GTM? Did you see? Yes. Did you know how to use GTM? Okay, now what should be considered when we use GTM? For example, what Anza did, she told the students to talk about present continuous. For example, eating. So, what is the translation of eating? Oke, makan atau sedang makan?
Sedang makan.
Sedang makan. Because we have to be, ya, and verb. Okay. But sometimes eating is not always sedang. For example, eating pizza is so delicious. What is the translation? Makan pizza sangat enak atau sangat lezat. Nah, jadi you can give the feedback to the student that eating is not always sedang makan. Ya, and the word to be is not always sedang. Penerjemahannya itu harus disesuaikan dengan jenis strukturnya, the grammar of the structure. Ya, okay. Now I will review for the technique of GTM. Ya, the first, what is GTM technique? Ya, first translation of literary passage. Jadi translation fokusnya diterjemahkan. Ya, pokoknya selalu diterjemahkan. Memorization, use word in sentence and composition. Yeah, so this is the technique of GTM. So, was it the best method? The answer is yes or no.
Not really.
Yeah, the method is best or not depend on the situation and the condition in your class in the class. Okay, so far any question? Okay, give me some question about GTM just now. Okay, maybe from Salsa. Anything?
Is the GTM only works works
On grammar.
on grammar too, or is it like you can use various things that various objects to analyze as the GTM method?
Okay, mostly GTM used for grammar because at the time people confuse how to explain, how to teach grammar to the beginners, know about formula, so they just translate. Because mostly the teacher come from native and the student they are not native, so they translate to the language. So for example, I'm in America and the students is from Indonesia, so I translate to Indonesia. That is the history. That was about our lesson for this afternoon. Yeah, how was the GTM? Did you get the point? Remember about GTM? So what is the point? First, GTM is the method of teaching English with translation. Yeah. Okay. So who is the authority in the class for GTM? The teacher. So how is the interaction the classroom with GTM? Less interaction, yeah, because they don't discuss, they don't debate, they don't communicate, they don't give a speech, but they just translate and translate. Okay, so I think that's all for our lesson for this afternoon. We wait again for another meeting next week. Thank you very much for coming, for joining, and for taking this class. And see you again next week. Yeah, have a nice day. Goodbye.